So today, Games Workshop announced a new set and a new edition for one of their best ever skirmish games, Warcry. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into what's been revealed so far. So welcome back to Budget WoW, where today we'll be discussing the new edition of Warcry, which was just announced as part of the Warhammer Online Summer Skirmish preview. Now, GW hasn't actually revealed any of the new rules or what's going to be new in the new edition of Warcry, but they've announced that yes, Warcry 2 is coming with a brand new launch box and 2 new warbands. So we'll go over the contents of the box, look at the sculpts, and I'll give my price predictions for the new set based on trends from older sets. And we'll discuss what this may mean overall for the future of Warcry, which is a game I love. Of course, we'll also have to touch on the new Warhammer Underworlds warband as a little bonus at the end of the video, also announced today. So, the new box set is called Warcry Heart of Ghur, which means, yes, there is a new starter box coming, and it's set in the realm of Ghur rather than the 8 points. This is also the launch of the new edition of Warcry, so expect some big rules overhauls. We have yet to see how big the rules overhauls will be, whether it'll be like Kill Team and pretty major, or if they may just make some small updates to what's already quite a solid system that we have in the existing Warcry. Comes with 2 new warbands, the Rotmeier Creed, which is a Nurgle-themed warband, and the Horns of Hashit, which is a more typical Chaos. And it comes with Ghur-style terrain, which you can kind of see pictured on the right, as well as a core rulebook, as well as a campaign book called Rot and Ruin. It comes with dice, tokens, and measuring sticks, which notably the measuring sticks they did not picture in any of the images shown for the new set. So it begs some questions for me as to how they may be changing the movement, if they may be doing something similar to Kill Team. It also comes with the Warcry cards, which is a nice inclusion, and a double-sided board. So let's take a look at these new sculpts. First is the Rotmeier Creed, which is by far my favorite of the 2 new warbands. It's a swamp-themed, Nurgle-worshipping Chaos warband, and the lore behind them is that they kidnap unwary warriors in Ghur to perform experiments to try and gain Nurgle's attention to get putrid immortality. I think these are fantastic-looking models. I'm really excited about these. You get 10 of them, and they did confirm in the Warhammer Community page that they worship Nurgle, which makes me think that they will be a Nurgle warband and possibly runnable in Maggotkin of Nurgle. Now, it is possible they may be slaves to darkness, but with a Nurgle keyword, I'm not sure. Maybe they'll be able to be played in both in terms of Age of Sigmar. But these are awesome. I think they're a great addition to the Mortals of Nurgle line, and I like that we have some skinnier and a little bit less transformed Nurgle mortals, but still just kind of creepy. I love the little plague toad Nurgling thing on the leader's shoulder there in the middle. Just excellent sculpts all around. The second warband included is the Horns of Hashit. You get 10 models with this one as well. And they're another Chaos, Slaves to Darkness, culty Warcry warband. Pretty standard looking. The lore behind them is that they're a cult worshipping a god named Hashut, and they want to raise all the plants of Ghur to make way for some dark forges or something. They made a big to-do on the Games Workshop announcements about these guys that they have spiky hats and they have a flamethrower, and that's kind of their appeal, I guess. Flamethrower is cool. The sculpts are nice. They're not my cup of tea. I think we have enough topless, spiky, Warcry, Slaves to Darkness warbands. I would have really loved to have seen something else. I think this one's a bit of a miss for me. I think the Nurgle guys are awesome. I think these guys are pretty generic. I mean, we'll see how they play on the table. But the fact that they moved the setting from the 8 points to Ghur, if they really wanted to make this Ghur focused, why not include something else? I would have loved to have seen a destruction warband. Ogres or Bone Splitters in particular both come to mind as would have been awesome in this set. Or even like a maybe see some good guys in Ghur for once. Maybe they could have had cities of Sigmar, Ghur like mortals that are not chaos worshipping in Ghur. That could have been cool. I think there are so many directions they could have taken this, and the fact that they essentially made another Untamed Beasts like Warband, except I think Untamed Beasts actually would have fit the theme better than these guys. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. They are great looking models, though. I will give them that. So this is the full contents of the box pictured, which I wanted to show just to give a sense of the terrain you get in the box. You get a number of platforms and rope bridges and trees and a lot of scatter in this box. This is all the terrain you get, as best I can tell, pictured on this slide. And while the terrain looks awesome, I think for like a diorama or just aesthetics wise, it looks pretty cool. It very much fits the theme. It's also a bit of a miss for me in terms of gameplay. If you compare it to the older Warcry boxes, you're not getting as many platforms and things to actually move around on, which is the big draw of Warcry for me at least, is having lots of platforms and buildings and things to hide behind, whereas this reads more like a lot of scatter and a couple platforms. If you wanted to use it in full scale Age of Sigmar, it looks nice. I like that you get trees. That's a big plus for me because you don't see that as often, and trees are harder to build on your own, and these trees look pretty nice. But nothing in here is really going to block line of sight very well. I kind of miss the big buildings you got in some of the older Warcry sets, but it looks great. Nice scatter, and I mean, fits the theme very well. So let's dig into the price of the new box. My prediction is that it will run 220 US dollars or 135 pounds, 175 euros, or sorry, Australia, 350 Australian dollars. Let me go over my reasoning for that by looking at some of the older boxes. So the original Warcry starter set, which I still think is the best one, by the way, in terms of the terrain you get, is way better than any of the others. You get all the cards. If you can find this, I would still say this, in many ways, is the best, except that the new edition is going to have new rules, so all the rules are about to become obsolete. But this one launched for $170, which I think was a pretty good deal. The next set they released for the first edition of Warcry was Catacombs, which came in at $210. This is probably the worst of the three, and I say that when this is the one of the three sets that I actually purchased. The war bands in this one are cool. It came with about half of the terrain as the last one, and this one launched for $210. Warcry Red Harvest also launched for $210, and this one did come with cards and dice and all of that. So that was kind of the standard price for the last two boxes. But one thing I noticed is that they actually upped the price to $220 on the GW website, which is why I expect the new box will run $220. Now, I could be wrong. They could bring the price up even more. Or if you look at Kill Team Octarius, the launch box, which came with quite a bit of stuff, more than those last two Warcry boxes, in my opinion, and it had Orcs, so it's automatically better, was only $199. So it's possible they run it at like 200 or 210 to try and get more people to buy it, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, what does the new edition mean for Warcry? Warcry is a great game. I love it. I'm kind of sad to see Warcry 1 go. I've been dreading them coming out with a new edition for a while because I invested in one of the old starter sets. About halfway through its lifespan, I kind of knew to some degree that eventually it was going to go kaput. Now, that doesn't mean you can't still play the first edition of Warcry, but it's not going to be supported anymore. One question I have is what's going to happen to all the old stack cards? I expect they're all going to be made obsolete. Let me just say that up front. I don't think that the old Warcry stat blocks are going to be usable. But, it's possible that they could take a tack kind of like with new editions of Age of Sigmar, and until they update the rules for your old warbands. Maybe your old warbands will still be usable in the new edition until they update the rule sets. We'll just have to wait and see. But I would expect that your old Warcry boxes, sets, they may change how stats work altogether, and the cards may be more or less useless at this point, which is a bummer. Now, the one thing I did notice that was the only clue to the new rule set is that they said that it includes measuring sticks. Not range rulers, but measuring sticks, which makes me think that they'll be made of plastic and included on the sprue. Now, whether it's like a big long stick with notches in it, like in some of the older Warhammer sets, I kind of doubt it. They've kind of moved away from that, although you never know. I think that they might be moving to something more like Kill Team, which now has the symbols to try and speed up movement, but we'll see. They notably didn't show a picture of these, which also makes me suspicious this may be a new rules mechanic. They didn't show the dice tokens or any of that either, so we'll see if there's any changes to anything else as they announce more rules for the new edition. Now, one thing that I worry about, being cynical and cost effectiveness minded, is are they going to start pushing Warcry only warbands as the main way to play the game? They kind of did this in Kill Team with the new edition, and a lot of people weren't too happy about it. One of the big appeals of first and second edition Kill Team and Warcry is that if you play 40K or Age of Sigmar, you could just take your existing models and slot them into a warband, and I really hope they don't mess with that for Warcry. Being able to take my Stormcast or take my Orcs and just have lots of options because I have AOS armies. I can make so many different warbands with the models I already have, and they work quite well in the game. That's a big appeal. It's like another game, added value to my Warhammer armies. So we'll see. I hope they don't mess with it. It would also be a shame because the Warcry boxes that they release for the different factions, like Stormcast, Orcs, etc., tend to be really good value. They tend to give you like full-size units for both games. So hope that continues, but we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, that's about it for the new Warcry, but they also announced a new Underworld warband, the Hex Banshees Hunters. It's a witch hunters, kind of like the hero that we saw in the Cursed City box. But most importantly, it comes with two good boys. These Mastiffs are really cool. I love the vibe of the kind of Inquisition witch hunter theme. I think these are awesome models. I don't play Underworlds, but I'm glad to see some new Cities of Sigmar units, and these are just really cool. So I like them a lot. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about the new Warcry edition. Are you sad to see the new one go? Are you excited to see what they're going to bring new to the game? Will they make it even better? And let me know what you think of the new sculpts and models in the box overall. As always, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.